All right, Shalom. As always, I'm thankful and I'm grateful to be able to come out here once again to preach and to prophesy unto my people, being you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. According to the Holy Bible, you are the biblical Israelites. This is based off of your father's genetic line. It's about paternal and agnet relations, in which determines your lineage. This is not a so-called black or white thing. Mingling those two shades together, you're going to get gray. There are no gray areas concerning the truth. Neither are there any gray people walking the face of the earth. So if you have any understanding, you would know I'm not teaching colorism. Our people are likened unto a speckled bird. That means we look like all nations under the sun. Okay? Jacob is hidden behind many faces because we've been to many places. Let's jump into it with the book of Psalms chapter 66 and verse 8. Oh, bless our power, ye people, and make the voice of his praise to be heard. So we have to let it be known. Show who Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is openly. Don't be ashamed to praise him. Let it be known in the sight of his enemies, in the sight of his friends, in the sight of all creation, that he's the power of heaven and earth, which holdeth our soul in life, and suffereth not our feet to be moved. So if you are of the Lord's elect, if he loves you, if he favors you, he's not going to allow your feet to be moved. In fact, he's going to increase your spirit and make you stronger. For thou, O God, hast proved us. Thou hast tried us as silver is tried. So we're being tried. That's why we go through slander. We go through trials and tribulation. We go through heartache. Things that just tear you up. Things that bring you down. But if we endure it, it really just builds us up. It makes us stronger. And if you are indeed his, you are going to be made stronger. You're not going to throw in the towel. Okay? Let's go forward to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 43 and verse 1. But now thus saith the Lord Yahweh, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. So we belong to the Heavenly Father. We belong to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The Israelites, he loves us. He's not dealing with these other nations. Okay? Verse 2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And a good example of that is when he split the sea and allowed us to cross, and then brought that water back together, and it crashed down upon Pharaoh and his army, his military. When thou passest through the waters, which goes into diverse afflictions, diverse temptations, I will be with thee. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. So we're not going to drown. See, the scriptures tell you, being in this ministry, it's like there's a fire on one side and there's water on the other. With Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai with you, that water's not going to drown you and that fire's not going to burn you. Okay? I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. So if you are of the Lord's elect, you are going to get through everything you're going through. It doesn't matter how people feel. It doesn't matter how many non-believers are mocking and scoffing and scorning. What matters is the Lord delivering you, the Lord increasing you, the Lord making you more bold, making you more, open to teach this word, man. All right? Fighting through all types of different things. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. So it does not matter what we go through. So be that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is with us, we are going to always make it to the other side. we're always going to be protected. Okay? Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, speaking of America, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. And that 2 parts is speaking of you Israelites here in America. 66.6%. But the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. So regardless of what fires we have to walk through, what waters we have to, basically float upon, however you want to put it, the Lord is going to keep us from drowning. He's going to keep us from burning. We got to become one with the water and one with the fire. Okay? Because he's with us. So as long as we go through that fire and we endure those trials and tribulations, he's going to naturally make you stronger. And your enemies are going to hate that. But you know what? You are beloved of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And I will bring the third part through the fire, being the elect, and will refine them as silver is refined. So all of you believers, the things that you go through, it's literally set up for you specifically. It's to build you up, not break you down. Don't let other men break you down. Don't let your own mind break you down. We are supposed to be uplifting one another, be like pillars one to another, uphold one another's burdens, while at the same time carrying your own cross. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, being the true names, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. So the elect are going to be tried, and they're going to endure that fire. But not just here in America. Wherever the elect may be, they're going to be tried, and they're going to endure. Okay? And see what the Heavenly Father is doing. He's getting us prepared for the days to come. Because the days up ahead are going to be very evil, very dark. There's going to be a whole lot of judgment taking place. So if you're a man who's in the spirit of a woman, you're not going to make it in these days to come. You got to be in that masculine spirit. All right? Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So he's making an Israelite man more precious than fine gold. And that's the things you go through, all the hell that you catch. The world will bring hell upon you, and then you may find more hell coming upon you from men in the truth. These things are necessary. These are necessary evils. But the Lord will do that to try you, to see how you respond, and to see if it's going to make you weak or make you stronger, to see if it's going to break your faith or make your faith. Okay? I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So seeing a man is going through that fire now, if he endures that fire, which will mean he's of the elect, he's going to be more precious than fine gold. He's going to be a hedge of protection unto these women out here. This is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 2. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. And this is why a man is, one of the reasons why a man is going to be more precious than fine gold. Okay? And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. And that wind is diverse things. You may be a woman, and there's groups of men seeking you out for pleasure. Okay? You may be sought out by cannibals. You may have nowhere to go. So you just out here where you could be eaten by all sorts of stray beasts that are also looking for food. However it may come, you women are going to need some safety. But that covering is going to come through a man of the Lord, a man of the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. So again, that wind represents many things. And ultimately that nuclear wind, when that nuclear destruction comes, because we can't forget that. I'll hold this. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. Babylon, if you have any understanding, is speaking of America. And against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. So that destroying wind, that's going into nuclear destruction. Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. And that's speaking of these other nations with nuclear capabilities that are going to see America as an enemy. They're going to add to the fire because so many missiles are going to come over here. By the time other missiles hit, they're just adding to the fire that's already been kindled. They're just going to fan that fire. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So them nuclear missiles are going to come from the north, south, east, and the west. Okay, Revelations chapter 7. In verse 1, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth. And the 4 corners of the earth isn't meaning the earth is a square or a rectangle. But this is speaking of direction. From the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, these nuclear missiles are going to come over here towards Babylon. Okay? And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth. That's not speaking of only 4 nuclear missiles. But those nuclear missiles are going to be sent from every side. That the wind, being that nuclear blast, should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And that sea, those trees are referencing people. Okay? Let me get my point here. On people being looked at as water. And then I'll show you that trees also represent people. Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, being America, are the peoples and the multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, so the waters, that represents multitudes of people. So going back to Revelation 7 and 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on any sea, being the people, nor on any tree. Now to show you that trees also represent people. This is the book of Mark chapter 8 and verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking, showing you that the sea represents people and the tree also represents people. Okay? So them nuclear missiles won't be sent to destroy anybody until a set time. All right? That sun is beaming, but it's beautiful. All right? Because we getting that vitamin D for free. So Revelation 7 and 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, being that nuclear blast, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, being the people, nor on any tree. Okay, so at the end of the day, those nuclear missiles are going to surround America eventually, but not until the given time. Jeremiah 51 and 2. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. So being against her round about, that goes into the 4 winds. The nuclear missiles being sent from all angles from these different nations that are going to be at war with America. America's going to have a whole lot of enemies. Okay? A whole lot. Even her so-called friends are going to turn against her. Okay? So let's go back to Isaiah 32 and 2. And a man, and this is speaking of an Israelite man of the elect of Israel, okay? And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, that nuclear wind, okay? Especially. And a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place. See, the men who have this truth, we have the water. We're going to have the answers. in that day when no one else has the answers. And seeing that we're going to have the answers, we're going to have a stable mind, okay? As rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So this is what an Israelite man of the elect is going to be to you women. And you're not going to have any problem in that day. Because so many men are going to be dead out here. So much is going to be happening out here. You'll be happy just being, under our protection, being under our hedge. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1, and in that day, and this is coming very soon. This is speaking of when all hell breaks loose. Okay, let me hold this. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So during this time known as Jacob's trouble, you women are going to be seeking out a real man, because a lot of these men are going to be like women out here. They're going to be, scared just like you. But an elect man of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to be in his masculine energy, so to speak. Isaiah 19 and 16, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women. So a lot of these men, whether they work out, they can be buff, big bodybuilders. They could be involved in martial arts. In that day, during Jacob's trouble, they're going to be like women. So you think you're going to run to them because they're big and buff, because they know how to fight, right? No, you're going to be clinging to the men of the Lord, because we're going to be the ones who are alive. We're going to be the ones with the answers. We're going to be the ones with that light guiding our path. And you're going to see it in the spirit, because we're going to have a different spirit on us. We're going to have a whole different vibration, so to speak, in comparison to how everybody else is feeling, who are in fear looking for answers. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women. And that's the point I wanted to hit there. So in that day of Jacob's trouble, many of these men are going to be like women. All right, so going back to Isaiah chapter 4 and 1. And in that day, during Jacob's trouble, a lot of these men are going to be like women. But not every man, because not every man is the same. All right? And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And that reproach comes from a multitude of things. That reproach may come from you already having multiple baby daddies. You may have multiple children. You may know that you come from a pretty tainted past, and you've been playing games. You may have heard this Israelite thing and you've just been sitting on it. But now you're seeing everything that we're saying coming to pass. So that reproach, you want it taken off of you by us accepting you in. You're not going to be worried about how much money we make, because the whole society is going to be different. You're not going to worry about us providing food for you, and that's a part of a man's duty, is to provide food. But you're going to have that mentality like, look, I'll take care of all that. You just take care of me. You just protect me, because I don't want to die out here. That's the mentality a lot of these women are going to have who make it. Okay? They're going to be humbled. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, because a lot of men are going to be dead out here because of famines, because of diseases, because of civil wars. Okay? Saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, which means they're going to be giving up the box to you, man. They're going to be submissive. When a man gets married to a woman, that woman takes on his name. Okay? Which is through the act of sex. 2 coming together as one, that's through sex, man. Okay? You people got to grow up out here. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So women are not going to be complaining about sharing the man of the Lord in that day. They're going to know this man is different. This man is of God. But all you women who aren't about that, you want to argue and bicker. You want to give a man a hard time. You want to call us liars. You want to say, I'm not sharing no man. You Israelites, y'all crazy. Well, this is Micah chapter 7. And verse 9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord. So all that we go through, it's really us bearing the Lord's anger against us because we've all fell short of his glory. We all have sinned, okay? Because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is my enemy, because a lot of these women, they're enemies out here. You know, they don't believe what we're saying. They're looking at what we're saying as a myth, as fairy tale. They're not looking at us as men of the Lord. They don't see our spirit, okay? I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh. Back to verse 9. I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh because I have sinned against him. So we got to bear our afflictions. But that doesn't give the right to those who afflict us to do what they do. They're going to be held accountable too now. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. And that's what he's done to us right now. He's brought us forth to the light. We have the truth. All we have to do is remain in that light, the true light. Verse 10, then she that is my enemy, all these non-believing women, these women that don't like to share, these women who don't comfort their men when they're going through a hard time. Y'all are enemies to the Lord and his men. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So many of you women who are out here running your mouth talking shit, the Lord is going to take you out in them days. He's going to answer your call, and it's not going to be how you expect it. You women think that you're queens, when really you are a bunch of queens, Quean. But you're not a queen in the sense of Quen. You need a king to be that kind of queen. Outside of that, you women are queens because you're whores. You justify whorish behavior. You call evil good and good evil. You justify wickedness, man. And a lot of you men, you're in that same spirit, all right? This is Isaiah chapter 5. And verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So right is right, wrong is wrong. Anyone who tries to change that, they're wicked. Things are yes or no. It's up or down, left or right. Ain't no in between, man. You're either moving correctly or you're not. You're either in the spirit or you're not. And a lot of you women, you're not in the spirit in most cases. Okay, and if you're a woman who's ever dealt with the man in this truth, and you feel like because this man disrespected me, you have the right to try to come to my page and be kind to me, to try to create more fault between me and him, you got this game messed up. All right? Don't come to me if you've dealt with any man in this ministry and y'all done broke up. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a man from ISUPK. If you're a woman who's dealt with any man in this ministry and y'all broken up, don't come trying to holler at me. Do not get me caught up in that madness, man. All right? Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So most people, they're not in the correct spirit. And you women especially, a lot of y'all are not in the right spirit, but some of you, you're spiritual. Some of you can see more than your common man or woman. But most of you women are bugged out. Most of you men are bugged out. All right? So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to bring evil to this world because he's tired of it. Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And I'm speaking prophecy unto my people. All you evil women, you're going to be destroyed. But you righteous women, you're going to share a man in them days up ahead. If you don't want to do it now, you're going to do it anyway. So you might as well learn to do it right now. You might as well be at the finish line awaiting everybody else to show up. Because that's how it's going to be. Okay? Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So these words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they're faithful and true, man. These words are so faithful and true, I'm willing to come out here and stand, and it's hella hot out here, man. It's beaming hot, but it's cool. Because I'm out here serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's how you know the Lord didn't call women to do this. Women will be like, it's too hot. Complaining about their mascara fading out. Okay? Having all these excuses, man. Talking about they're on their cycle. Okay? Nah, we as men, we got to do this job, man. We got a job to do. All right? And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, they're faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Oh, you ain't no man of the Lord. You ain't who you say you are, right? Oh, you bugged out. You crazy. I don't worry about none of the non-believers and things that they have to say. If you're a non-believer, you're really of no consequence to me. I hurdle over you, okay? Fear not the imaginations against thee. And there's many imaginations against thee. I'm not worried about it. I'm still going to stand stiffly because the Lord is my strength. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And you can bet that. All right? Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So all those who are unfaithful, they're just going to die that way. Let the filthy remain filthy. Let the ignorant remain ignorant. They are going to be who they are. You're either of the elect or you're not. The elect are going to take heed to the words of the Lord. They're going to do everything in their power to follow the standard, the guidelines written in the words of God. Not following behind what this man says, but you can't find it nowhere in the Bible. Or he breaking it down completely wrong. Okay? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. And seeing that these plagues are coming to the world, it's going to make it a whole lot easier for you women to be in that spirit of sharing a man. Because y'all don't want to do it right now. So the Lord is going to put the spirit on you to do it through force. When he brings evil to the world. When he starts bringing a whole lot of death. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So the Lord is tired of all the wickedness that's been taking place here on earth. In the ministry and outside the ministry. The Lord is fed up. He's tired of it. So now we're in that season where he's starting to reveal the truth. The true men of the Lord, the truth in general, he's starting to reveal prophecies. Things are starting to speak more and more. Okay? As many times as Trump has said, we've won. And when I say we, I don't got nothing to do with it. We as in America. Okay? I'm a U.S. citizen, so to speak, but I'm an Israelite. All right? I don't consider myself a so-called American. I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? But Trump has said so many times how America has been winning against Iran, so to speak, but yet things are still popping off. Just like a lot of men, they'll call you a bug out, say you're not a man of the Lord, but somehow you just keep getting stronger and stronger. You got to listen and watch what a man does. And you got to watch the men that he speaks against, what they do. And you got to make sure you on the right side, man. You got to make sure you in the right mind. Okay? Because it's easy for an unfaithful man to speak ill on somebody, and because of what he said, you don't look into the man he's speaking on. Okay? Verse 7. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to start upping that sword of judgment more and more. He's not going to keep being merciful. Because many of you don't show mercy. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. So the elect of Israel are constantly complaining. We're looking forward to salvation. We want to be delivered. We're doing everything in our power to the best of our ability to walk in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and not fall victim to another man's trap. A man trying to trap you into doing wrong. A man trying to cause you to sin. Trying to cause you to react off emotion because they're emotional. Okay? There's a whole lot of wickedness going on. down here on earth. These people that be driving by us, who be looking out of their business windows, be at these restaurants looking out the windows, they're surprised to still see us going strong, man. Because many of them, they expected this to fade out a whole 5 months ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, okay? And yet we're still out here going strong, and brothers are increasing in the spirit, all right? Verse 9, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. So the Lord is going to avenge his elect. All those who ever came against any of the Lord's men without cause, and you haven't repented for that, you're going to receive judgment. The Lord is going to take you out one way or another, okay? So going forward, seeing that plagues are coming to the world. Revelations chapter 18. Revelations chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. And that her is referencing America. This isn't speaking of getting a plane ticket, okay, getting a passport and dipping up out of Babylon. Because we know according to the according to the Bible, a great deliverance is going to take place here in Babylon. Yahweh Shai, he himself is coming into Babylon. So for you to be an Israelite who wants to leave Babylon, it tells you in Isaiah 19 and 1 that Yahweh Shai is coming here. So this isn't telling us to leave America in general, but come out of her spiritually. Don't be a partaker in the ways of this world. Okay? Come out of the ways of being an American, which is a modern day Gentile. And I heard another voice from heaven, and this is an actual voice. And you'll hear this voice in the Hebrew. It will be a deep Hebrew voice. Hebrew voice. I don't know what else to say. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So you know that the plagues are coming. So if you know that the plagues are coming, you would be a silly, a silly fool, a silly idiot. Really, you're just a slime ball to see the plagues coming and still want to be a partaker. You're just a miserable individual because you're being told these things, okay? You're being warned these things ahead of time. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So the time of judgment is right now. The Lord has been sitting back, being very patient and merciful, giving our people the time to repent, giving men in this ministry time to consider their ways even. And a lot of you are playing with that time. You're not taking advantage of that time in righteousness. You're abusing that time wickedly. Okay? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is soon to pull the plug from this society and just bring that destruction as he said he would do. Bring the famine, bring the diseases, bring forth cannibalism, bring forth wild beasts out here eating people up, man. Bring forth evil looking creatures that you've never seen before. You might see a gargoyle snatch somebody's head off their shoulder. And you thinking you're dreaming. You're trying to pinch yourself to see if you're dreaming. And you ain't waking up. Okay? Reward her, being America, even as she rewarded you, being us Israelites. And double unto her, double according to her works. And her is referencing America and Esau. Because Esau, he's the king of America. These Edomites, they're the ones ruling in Babylon. So this is speaking of the land. The land's going to be destroyed. And the people who are in control of it are going to be punished and then eventually destroyed after paying double. In the cup which she had filled, filled to her double. So this is what's coming to America. Okay? And this is what the men of the Lord are to tell you. That great evils are coming. Mark chapter 13 and verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's happening literally right now. At a rate like never before. If you turn on the news, if you look at it from a worldly perspective, it's never any good news going on. But seeing that we're in the spirit, it's always good news. It's always some talks of war. There's always some talks of, some violence going on, man. But these are all signs of the time. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. And we're coming into the beginning of sorrows. If you Israelites don't have that hedge of protection upon you, you're not going to be protected from them sorrows, man. That's why you're not listening. You're not considering. You just keep ignoring this word, man. Okay? But that's a shame on you, not me. Daniel's chapter 12. Daniel's chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Even at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So the times up ahead are going to be so troublesome that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to have to send forth Michael the archangel to get us out of situations. Because it's going to be that bad. Because if left to our own devices, we will be slain. We will be taken up out of here. But the Lord's not going to cause that to happen unto those who are his. Even if we have to suffer some type of affliction, the Lord is still going to be with you through all of it. Okay? So there's nothing to be worried about. Verse 2, and many of them shall sleep in the dust of the earth, shall awake. So some of our people, they may have to die. They may have to be a martyr. They may not be alive to see Yahushua return in the flesh. But they'll already be with Yahushua when he returns. Okay? And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some to everlasting life, being the elect of Israel, and some to everlasting contempt, and that's really going into these other nations. Now, some of our people, those who aren't the elect, they're going to have a sense of waking up to some shame in the kingdom of heaven as well. But they're still going to be loved. They're still going to have slaves. They're still going to be in power. They're still going to have spiritual powers and all that. But they're still going to be considering their ways on this side. They're going to feel a sense of shame. But that true shame is going to be felt by Esau and the rest of these nations, because they're not the children of the kingdom. The children of the kingdom are going to awake to everlasting life, because that's what's promised to us. But all these other nations, they're going to wake up in captivity. Okay? Thus says Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Let's jump down to verse 10. You know what? Let's read verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. So if you're wise, you're considered a child of the light, man. You're illuminated. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. And coming out here and doing this, you're in the position of turning those to the light, unto righteousness. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. So for a long time, the book was sealed, but it's open now because we're at the end. That's why it's beautiful that you see all these men doing the same thing that I'm doing. All these prophets have been risen from the grave, and they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay? But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And what you're seeing right now is many running to and fro. All these people in these vehicles, airplanes. Okay, you got boats with motors on it, man. Motorcycles. You have all these vehicles being used to get people here and there, man. That's the sign we're at the end. And knowledge being increased. You got Google. You got artificial intelligence. You got AI. Okay? And then AI, when you look at it together, which is I, that also goes into destruction. When you look at AI in the Bible, or I, that name itself goes into destruction. And through this artificial intelligence, through these artificial demons or these demons, it's really bringing forth the destruction of this society. Okay? But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. So Daniel would have to die and eventually come back to this very moment to get the knowledge and understanding that we have now, because it was sealed. And Yahweh Shai, he had to be the one to loosen that seventh seal. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So I'm going to jump down to verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. And that's the elect. The elect are going to be tried. You're going to be tested. You're going through trials not to destroy you, but ultimately to build you up and to make you stronger. Okay? Many shall be purified and made white and tried. But the wicked shall do wickedly. None of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So if you don't understand spiritual matters, if you don't understand the words that I'm saying, it's probably because you're wicked. Because I'm breaking it down plainly. I'm using words that are easy to understand. All right? This ain't even my fluent language. I've been broken away from my actual language being Hebrew. So typically, this ain't even my native tongue. But even though it's not my native tongue, I break it down plainly for y'all to understand. So if you don't get it, it's probably because you're wicked. Okay? Many shall be purified and made white. My bad. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So the wise are going to understand. Everybody's not capable of that, because everyone is not wise. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 4. I'll just start from 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. That comes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. To have the knowledge, to have discretion, to be able to understand the words of the Most High, that comes from the Most High. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A lot of us come into this ministry as young men, but the Lord is so beautiful, some of us even come in when we're older. We might be more up in age, but we still come to the knowledge of the truth. And then from that point, you're like a newborn babe. You're young all over again. Okay? And we're all young anyway in the flesh. Even if you were 200 years old, man, you are young in the sight of the Heavenly Father. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. So many don't attain unto wise counsel because they don't understand, because they're dumb. They're idiots, man. And a lot of people, they have a problem with the Israelites because they're wicked. They don't get it. It's not for them. They're blocked. Okay? Job chapter 27. Job chapter 27 and verse 16. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. So you have all these doomsday preppers calling themselves getting prepared for the days up ahead. But what they don't know, they're really getting prepared for the elect. The elect are going to be taken care of in these days to come. Okay? You may have 7 women with you. You may have 12 women. You may have 30 women with you. And y'all come across a home with all this food. And these women are talking about they know how to cook. One saying she knows how to make this. Another one saying she knows how to whip up that. Another one saying she's good at doing this. And they all put their heads together and whip up a meal from an abandoned house that was once a doomsday preppers. But that house was really set up for you. The Lord's going to take care of his men in these days to come. So if you're not the elect, you're not going to get very far. Verse 16 again, Job 27 and 16. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. And we're the innocent, Lord willing. The innocent are those who are justified in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? Proverbs 13. Proverbs chapter 13 and 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So all you wicked, evil sinners, all you doomsday preppers who ain't right in the sight of the Lord, you're just heaping all that up for the Lord's elect. You got to know that, because my job is to tell you the truth. Okay? Any of you who don't put your faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai as an Israelite, anything else you put your faith in is going to fail you. I guarantee it. The only hedge is going to come through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner, especially you wicked doomsday preppers with no faith, you putting all your faith in your possessions. And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So we understand famines are coming. But seeing that famines are coming, we're going to be fed. We're going to be taken care of in that day. The Lord is going to make sure of it. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, so we're going to eat in that day. All the Lord's elect, Lord willing, we're of that number. We're going to eat that day. You got men angry at me because of my claims, and I ain't never said I'm of the elect. And I heard Elder Apostle Tahar say that, and nobody jumped on him. A lot of you men are weirdos, man. A lot of you men are going to be found out to be liars. But anyway, we're going to be taken care of, man. The elect are going to eat in them days to come. Even if you have to go 12 hours, a whole day, a day and a half, maybe even 2 days where it seems like you ain't being fed or anything. But you're going to be taken care of, because the elect are not going to be left out there to die. Okay? The Lord is going to get everything in order. Everything's going to fall how it's meant to fall. None of his elect are going to be forsaken. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So we have so much to look forward to. Although a lot of evil's coming, we're going to be taken care of. Aren't you looking forward to being delivered? Aren't you looking forward to some of the miracles? Sometimes I fall in fear thinking about some of the miracles. Just thinking of some actual angel being in front of me. That'll be terrifying, man. Okay? I'm actually one of those men, I would rather not see that. Okay? I've seen an angel, but I've seen an angel, it was real quick to where it looked like a big white bird with huge wings. And it flew over the windshield of the vehicle I was riding in. And the guy that was driving slammed on the brake, and we both looked back, it was gone. It took up the whole windshield. Just huge white wings, man. And it did that to keep us from driving off the highway. I've seen an angel, but I haven't seen an angel to actually gawk upon it, actually seeing it in its fullness. That would be terrifying. But be looking forward to seeing things like that, things that will bug you out, man. You might actually look up in the sky. You might not even be aware of it in them days to come. You just look up and you got a huge spaceship in full form just hovered above you. Looking terrifying, man. You might actually walk out of a house, and as soon as you walk out, you see this portal open up. You're like, what the hell is that, man? But that portal is there to get you out of a bad situation. Be looking forward to these things. You may be in the woods somewhere. It's dark as hell in the woods. If you've never been in a wooded area with no lights, it is dark as hell. Okay, there's a sense of eeriness that comes with that. But you have to think and ponder on these things. We have to have our minds built up for these things. You may be out in the middle of nowhere and you see 3 stray lions, man, that broke out from the zoo. And you got to have faith that the Lord keeps their mouth closed and not eat you alive, man. Okay? We're going to be taken care of. This is Luke chapter 12. In verse 5, but I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed had power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him. And hell is the condition. The Heavenly Father can kill you and bring you back and have you just living in a life of torment in hell to the day that you die again. And then bring you back in this generation, have you suffer your whole life just to await the nuclear missiles, and then you get burned up in that too. Fear him who can do that. Okay? Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? And not one of them is forgotten before God. But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore. Ye are more valuable than many sparrows. So we're going to be taken care of. We talk about war, evil, and pestilence, but that's not for the righteous. Judgments like that are actually for the wicked. The righteous are going to be protected from those kind of judgments. Consider that, okay? So I'll get ready and close it out. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has spirits created for vengeance. Okay, if someone has a pet dog and their dog turns against them, bites them in the neck, and kills them, well, that was vengeance from the Lord. The Lord used that dog as vengeance. If someone's going swimming in the ocean, or they're going swimming in areas where there are sea creatures that could kill you, and they happen to get caught up with getting their skins ripped to shreds, all right, you see the blood just seeping into the water as it spreads out, all right, the Lord did that. That was vengeance from him. There be spirits that are created for vengeance. If a man grabs a grenade launcher and decides that he wants to, cause all this violence and harm on somebody, and he fulfills it, that was vengeance from the Lord. So everything good and evil comes from the Heavenly Father. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. And those sore strokes can come in a various amount of ways. A gunshot wound, being stabbed, okay, sharp teeth, shredding flesh, okay, thrown off of a cliff, bashed with stones, however it comes, man. Which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So when the Heavenly Father brings forth judgment, when he takes somebody out, that's because he was angry with that person. But once he takes them out, however he decides to, it actually makes him calm down. Okay? He's like, all right, I got that nigga out the way. I'm good now. I'm chilling. All right? There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth and wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. So these types of things are not created for the righteous. They're not created for the Lord's elect. They're created for those who ain't right out here. So if you're being obedient to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, why are you in fear? Now, as a woman, I can see why you might get a little shaky. No offense. I mean, you're a woman. You are the weaker vessel. And that's why it's important that you find you a man of the Lord, a true man of the Lord. All right? And don't be hopping from one man to another. Don't come at me after you already done dealt with a man in this ministry. whether he's teaching the truth or not. If you've ever dated any man who called himself an Israelite, don't talk to me about nothing. Just be quiet, okay? But I pray that this lesson, it was simple and edifying. And with that, all praises unto our power, the power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. Seeing I don't come in my own name, what are the names of them who sent me to come out here and do this once again? Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Warakat Kodash. I'm out.